talk about the NHS, but I'm not here to do any rabble rousing to make you more angry about our losing the NHS, because I'm sure everybody here understands there's a problem. But I know that you're all committed and conscientious people, so I'm here to give you a bit of information, because there's another trick being perpetrated on us under the name of the Efford Bill. So first, hang on a sec, because I want to do my umbrella.
Hi guys, it's actually Dr Lucy Reynolds, member of the National Health Action Party.
Thank you, that'd be very kind, because otherwise the words will run away before I...
Sure, National Health Action Party, and also Stop TTIP.
All sorted, things like that, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so firstly, what's happening is that there is a land grab going on. They want to get rid of our hospitals. The plans are to sell off as privatised hospitals, 1/3 of them, and get rid of the rest for redevelopment. It's a land grab. So the hospitals will be taken down by attacking their income, so they can't earn enough to pay their PFI debts, and that's going to be used to get rid of basically all of our hospitals. Okay, the batteries run flat, so I shall just shout now. Okay.
Sure.
So the second thing that's going to happen is that there is a grab for the budget and for the information in our medical records. The NHS budget has been split up between clinical commissioning groups, and each of those controls the funding for care to a group of GP practice lists. So every patient belongs to a CCG through their GP. The CCG is controlled by a bunch of entrepreneurial doctors and other entrepreneurial personages put there by Andrew Lansley, our entrepreneurial health secretary. And it buys care from hospitals for its patients as they need, if it has enough money to do that, that is. So rationing of care is expected in the new system. Now, the CCG boards are filled with GPs and other people who do not have the financial and legal skills to do the commissioning job, to actually buy the care. That's being done at the moment by former NHS staff who are still in state-owned organisations called commissioning support units, but they're about to be privatised. And not only do they, between them, control around 90 billion a year of NHS funding, in order to do their jobs they have to have access to our medical records. Now, both the budget and the medical records are very, very attractive to the insurance industry. And if one single insurer could get access to all our medical records, it would be set up in this country to control the NHS. It would make an extraordinary amount of money. There is one insurance company which has already got its man. Its former Vice President, Simon Stevens, now heads the NHS. Previously, he was a health advisor in the Blair government. So he's part of a big insurance company from the USA. He heads the NHS now. And what we are seeing is a Labour Party, a new Labour bill being brought in called the Efford Bill. And that is designed, it says it's going to take competition out of the NHS. That is a lie. What it will do is allow United Health to get access to all of the budgets and all of our medical records under a monopoly arrangement. That's illegal at the moment, and they are trying to get activists to trick us into supporting this Efford Bill as a salvation for the NHS. But what it will do is gift the NHS to an American insurer. There was a 24-hour vigil last week in favour of the Efford Bill, organised by the unions and other people, other leaders complicit with the privatisation. I suppose people spent all night pleading with the MPs to pass this foul trick. I wanted to come down here and tell you all about it because you're all motivated and informed and connected. Please will you tell people that the Efford Bill is not the salvation of the NHS and we should be protesting against it, not for it.
Yeah, we've been doing it already.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can you explain why?
Can I explain why?
Yeah, please.
How do you mean why?
Why should we protest against it? Because in Lewisham, Lewisham A&E campaign is very much for it, and they are...
Sure, I will do that. I actually wanted to talk about Lewisham Hospital campaign. Lewisham Hospital campaign was created in opposition to the local Save the Hospital campaign, and its activities are thoroughly colonised by giving credit to Labour MPs for local activist work. So yes, they're thoroughly in favour. The headlines on the Efford Bill are that it will get rid of competition. So it does take out the thing that put competition into the NHS, but then it puts it back in another place. It classifies the NHS as a service of general economic interest, and that means it's caught into the EU competition rules, which give big companies a fair shot at the NHS budget alongside NHS hospitals. So the Efford Bill's line that it doesn't take competition out of the NHS is false. There is a very plain dirty trick as soon as you see the wording. That's why they didn't release the wording. It's been put out through the Labour Party because the positioning has been that the Labour Party is somehow the salvation of the NHS. That's a very odd concept because it spent the years 2000 to 210 putting in all of the groundwork legally apart from the final act for what this lot in here have done to the NHS, for what the coalition have done. New Labour put in 10 years of groundwork. So the whole idea that the Labour Party is going to save the NHS, well, it's like pleading for Judas to save Jesus. New Labour appears to be a creature sponsored by transatlantic big business from the start, and they have arranged cross-party support for this Efford Bill. So on Friday, on its second reading, it passed by an overwhelming majority. They are trying to get them to save the day and pass this bill, but actually it will do the very opposite. And the reason Save Lewisham Hospital campaign is in favour is that Save Lewisham Hospital campaign is unfortunately part of the privatisation. At the head, not the membership. There are 25,000 people that march, but the leaders are part of the privatisation, sadly.
I see.
Good for you, so did I.
Yeah, yeah.
Feeling a bit of a fool now, huh? That's what I am anyway.
Okay. Not that bad.
Is there any other questions?
Okay.
What stage is the bill at now?
What stage is it? It went through first reading without us being allowed to see the words. They released the words about a week ago, so we've had that long to react, and it went through second reading last Friday. It now goes into committee stage. But given it has cross-party support, it will probably go into law pretty fast. Okay.
It's actually a way to actually amend it to actually, from what I got, I haven't read it, but is the Alison Pollock bill better than the Efford bill?
The Alison Pollock bill is not perfect. It still contains a backdoor for privatisation. The Efford Bill contains a rejigging of the preferred provider rules from the end of the Labour years to make it possible for non-NHS bodies to take NHS contracts outside competition. So United Health will get those contracts.
So what's the answer?
So in order to amend it to be good, yes, we could just keep part 3, and without that, it might be all right. But unfortunately, most of it is pernicious.
I see.
The Green Party is amending it. Are you supportive of the Green Party's amendment?
I'm supportive of the Green Party's attempts. I haven't seen the detail of the amendments, and I think it's a good idea to talk to them. So thank you for telling me.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to know when the text was released and how long, because it's had quite a lot of support from different
38 degrees.
38 Degrees, Unite, WDA. So I'm really interested in at what point that the text was released so that people had a chance to examine
It was released about 10 days ago. There have been repeated decisions by Keep Our NHS Public Steering Group not to support the Efford Bill, and the leaders have nevertheless had 5,000 leaflets printed up saying back the bill, which they have started to distribute despite being specifically told not to by their own steering group. And as for 38 Degrees, unfortunately they did the dirty to us already over the NHS with the care bill, telling people that the amendments would solve the problem when they didn't.
It's the
Can you tell us about the Roderick, is it Roderick Robinson, is it, Bill?
Roderick and Pollock, yeah.
Yeah, and Roderick Pollock, and what you think about that?
Right, okay. That is a public-spirited attempt to improve matters. It's not perfect. It's 95% there. We're in communication. That can be cleaned up. That's the one to support. The Efford Bill is just a nasty box of tricks from the city's lawyers.
On the Roderick Pollock bill, how much foundational strength is there in enabling it to be pushed through, or what is in the way of allowing it to gather force, gather momentum?
What is in the way is the fact that the privatisation decades ago set upon the fact that there was a large amount of land underneath NHS hospitals which they would like, and an enormous budget. The NHS privatisation is by a very great distance the largest ever. London Review of Books recently quoted the largest privatisation as 40 billion spread across 25 years, which was the right to buy. The NHS privatisation is 110 billion per year and rising in recurrent spending, and all of the land under all of the hospitals, so it's enormous. So the reason that no bill to actually deprivatise the NHS will be brought is because our politicians have been thoroughly corrupted and they're under the control of the city, unfortunately. So it's wonderful in theory, it'll never get a chance to be in practice unless we can clean up that lot.
Okay.
Can I add to that? When I did A-levels in the late 90s, one of the statistics that I was told was that the NHS is the third largest employer in the world after the Chinese army and something else. And the capitalist forces wanted to get at that big fat pot of money. And so it's kind of heartbreaking that we're going to spend all this effort, and it's like this is capitalistic war, this force that we're going to try valiantly to fight, but unless something dramatic, seismic happens, we're going to be valiantly trying, but you know, against perhaps insurmountable odds. So we've got to put that context to people that this is tremendous force that's driving this.
It is tremendous. There's an enormous prize. Max Kaiser used to be a stockbroker on Wall Street, and he addressed the National Health Action Party group by saying, "You guys have no idea what happened on Wall Street. A bunch of stockbrokers saw that budget and they took out loans and made plans with the lawyers to access it, and they'll pay back the loans out of the money they take out of your NHS, and that's all it is. They do not care if you live or die, folks. They're just interested in the money." So yes, that is enormous, but if you look at what's happening, we have been comprehensively lied to. For 30 years, the NHS has been gradually privatised. We're about 90% of the way through the plans now, and the population of this country at large remain unaware of it. That means that the actual battle is in the propaganda domain. We have been systematically misinformed, and we need to spread information. But at least we have the tools to do that. We can get the word out. So the most important thing is to let everybody know what's going on.
Okay.
Can you explain a little bit about the ownership of the land? Because my
Okay.
understanding
Okay.
is
Back
that
soon, guys. Just a moment.
ownership